What up, everybody? We're going to do another knife review, and today we're going to talk about another small fixed blade. I love small fixed blades. I'll tell you why. I have a specific use for small fixed blades. I carry a small fixed blade when I carry my firearm, and the reason is if anybody ever goes for my firearm, I'm going to have to use my strong side hand to retain my firearm. In that situation, I don't believe, no matter how much you train, that you can 100% count on reaching across your body with your weak side hand, pulling a folder out of your pocket, opening that folder, and bringing it to use. Because remember, you're wrestling with somebody over your firearm. It's a life or death situation. Chances are it's going to go to the ground. You have got to come out on top of this. Your life depends on it. So my philosophy is, carry a small fixed blade on your weak side. That way you don't have to worry about fine motor skills while you're retaining your firearm with your strong side. You can reach with your weak side, pull out that fixed blade. It's automatically ready to go. All you got to do is start sticking it in somebody to get them off of you. I carry mine on, like I say, on the weak side, IWB, appendix carry, and it's easy to go to. It's a natural location for when you're in a fight or flight situation. Your hands want to come to your core anyway, naturally. So that's a natural location to locate that at. It's easy to hide, easy to access, and I can get it into use if I have to. All right, what we're going to cover today is the Tops Knives Lioness Rockies Edition. Now, Tops Knives is well known in the community. They're an American-made product. They have a vast product line. I don't even know how many models they got. 10,000 different models. I don't know. They are crazy. They've got so many models. Like I say, they're an American-made product with a great reputation. They primarily build in 1095 carbon steel, although they do have some stainless, but primarily in 1095. They have a fantastic heat treat for 1095. They really know how to do this steel. And they have a great reputation as far as that goes. The Lioness model, I think, if you know anything about it, I think that it's more marketed towards females. It's a fairly small model. And this one in particular is in a finish, what they call their Rockies Edition. But the other models, there's two other models. One is actually pink, powder coated with black G10 handle scales, and the other one is purple powder coated with black G10 handle scales. That's pretty feminine. I don't have anything against it. I don't want to carry a pink or a purple knife personally, but you know, to each their own. I love this model. You can see that the steel is done in an acid stone wash. It's a medium dark acid wash with a fairly heavy stone wash finish on it. It's very good overall. It's very even overall. No issues as far as the finish goes. And then the handle scale is in natural micarta. That's a little more masculine looking knife, even though it does say Lioness on it. I'm not going to sweat that. I'm not worried about my whether anybody thinks that my knife is masculine enough or not, as long as it's not pink or purple. So, you know, let's go ahead and do the specs on this knife. You got a 3.5-inch blade length, and I'm measuring that to the plunge. The blade stock thickness is about 1/8 of an inch, or 3.2 millimeters. The blade width from the edge to the spine, 1.1 inches or 28 millimeters. The handle length, and I measured this from the strike butt here to the finger choil. I'm making all of that the handle length, and that's 4.03 inches or 10 centimeters. The handle thickness, 498 thousandths, so you're right on a 1/2 inch there, 12.6 millimeters. The handle width at the widest point here, 1.01 inches or 25.7 millimeters. The overall length right at 7.5 inches or 9 centimeters. The weight of the knife itself, 3.32 ounces or 94 grams. With the sheath, and this is the sheath right here with belt clip on it, you're looking at a total of 5 ounces or 142 grams. And we'll go ahead and take a look at that sheath and get that knocked out. It's a Kydex sheath. It's a taco or clamshell type of sheath, meaning it's folded over this way and affixed closed on one side with bolt-on hardware. I believe that is spaced for a tech lock. I have not tried it on this. I'm using the built-in clip, and you can see I've got it to where it's canted right. Since I carry an appendix carry, you'll see that carry down in the belt is going to cant this right in the fold of my leg to crotch there for a more comfortable carry. Now, I will say this. I think this sheath material, this Kydex, is a little heavy. You know, this is 80 or 90 thousandths Kydex. I didn't measure that. I probably should. It's a little bit heavy for IWB carry. Now, that's not good or bad. I just think it's a little heavier for my preferred carry. And, you know, if you're going to carry it on the outside of your belt, or you really want a tough sheath, then that's good, actually. Like I say, it's not bad. It's just sort of a personal preference thing. And then in the design of the sheath, the only thing I really have issue with, again, because of the way I carry, is the point down here. I'm going to take and I'm going to radius this over and soften this point on my grinder. I'm going to, you know, about like this. And, you know, that keeps it from jabbing into my crotch and being uncomfortable when I'm bending over or seated. Overall, the quality of the sheath is good. The clip is plastic. You can see it's a retained type of clip. You know, it's fairly stout. I don't think you're going to break it under normal use. It's screw mounted with a large rubber O-ring that gives it tension, so it won't rotate unless you consciously want to rotate, or it has a great amount of force on it. The hardware is finished well on it. I don't really see any issues in the quality of the sheath at all. The fit is good. Let's see here. Well, you can see, yeah, there's not any play or anything, and you've got a nice ramp here to push off on with your thumb to pull it out. So overall, the sheath is pretty good quality. Now let's take a look at this knife. This is a small knife at about 7.5 inches overall. Now, take a look at my hand. I've got medium-sized hands. I'm not a real big cat, but look at the way the fit of this. I've got full grip, all 4 fingers on it. I've got this super big choil here. I mean, super big. And some good jimping right here in a natural position where my thumb's going to fall in the forward position. Now, when I pull that out of my waistband, if I have to use it for its intended purpose, that's the grip that I'm going to use primarily or initially, unless I need to, you know, readjust it to a reverse grip or something. So the design of this is absolutely fantastic for my intended purpose. The blade style is almost Persian. In fact, you could compare this to, say, like the Cold Steel Talwar folders, which I've done a review on. You're welcome to check. The blade profile is almost exactly the same. Almost exactly the same. So what you've got, say if you hold this and you've got the center line of the knife, you've got a handle or natural drop here, and then you've got, according to the center line of the knife, a slight rise towards the tip, a slight rise in a trailing point, and then the edge, you've got a very short flat section here, and then belly rising towards that tip. The tip is good. It's in line with the design here. It gives you a natural feel for where the tip is if you need to manipulate the tip. If you're using it in a utility use, you can choke up in this big ass choil and you are very close to that edge. It doesn't have a secondary choil you can get into, but this primary choil is huge. You can get really close to the edge. There's another set of jimping further out on the blade towards the tip. It's not comfortable for me to use. My hands are just too small, and stretching from this choil to there is a little much for me. Although you could use it in a pinch grip with this finger, and you can see I've got a natural, if you wanted to use this, it's a little pointy for me, but if you wanted to use it in for skinning game, you can use it that way, or any fine detail cutting. But in my primary use, I'm looking for that big choil, that natural hand grip. I want to be able to stab, 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 of course, if I have to use this for the intended purpose, as far as my intended purpose. I don't fear slipping forward. I don't fear falling back. You see you've got a nice bit of palm swell here. It's fairly exaggerated, actually, for palm swell, because it's very thin in the choil area, and then it thins out again back here going into this impact tip. So this really is a fairly pronounced palm swell, and it does really lock that knife in, and combined with the forward finger choil, it gives you a very secure feel. Now, as far as the butt end goes, I'm calling this an impact tip, but if you have large hands, it's not really. You can see in my medium hand, if I rotate, I've got a little bit that extends out, and I could use it for a non-lethal sort of impact device. But if you have a large hand that's really going to cover that, you're not going to be able to use that. Then you're looking at, the primary use will be to attach a lanyard. You do have a very large lanyard hole. No issue at all getting 550 cord through there, even with the core in. All right. As far as tops 1095 that they use, like I said already, they have a fantastic reputation as far as their heat treat of 1095. I've had no issues. I've had no rust issues. Good edge retention. The grind on this is a full flat grind. It is done very well. You can see it does not intrude into the spine of the knife. So the grind geometry is pretty much perfect from the edge to the spine and not through the spine. It's even on both sides. The edge grind itself is fairly thin. It is fairly thin behind the edge. It's a good slicey knife. You can see side to side here, and from the tip to the plunge grind that it's even. They've done a good job. There is a small sharpening choil here. If you can see that, there is a small sharpening choil to terminate that grind line in, so you're not grinding into the plunge and you get a hassle with your sharpening or edge flare if you sharpen all the way. Kudos to Tops for that. That is a much needed feature that many knife manufacturers overlook. The fit and finish as far as the handle goes, your basic natural micarta. There's no liners. Sometimes Tops will use colored liners under their micarta to offset that, but on this model they don't. I think it's really, really attractive. It is natural micarta, and it looks natural to me. It doesn't look fake, colory. It's not fancy. The grip is, it's micarta. This is linen micarta here. It's the finer micarta. You can see it's not canvas micarta. It's linen. It does have some surface texture that you can see here. It is smooth, but it does have some surface texture. I like micarta when it gets wet. To me, at least in this surface finish with some texture, the exposed fibers here, it's almost like they swell up when water hits them, and it becomes a little tackier to me. Whereas a smooth finish G10, the fiberglass that's in G10 really doesn't react with water, and a smooth finish G10 will stay smooth if it's wet and sometimes becomes slippery. This has got more of a, again, sort of a naturally tacky, but not obtrusive finish to it. as along with the jimping up at the blade tip, your primary jimping here. You've got another set of jimping here, and that's a little far back as far as my grip goes. I don't know exactly what it would be used for. No jimping on the inside of the grip at all, not in the choil or across the grip itself. Nothing on the butt end. This knife, it comes naturally to the hand, like I said. It fits my hand well. It's got a fantastic blade design. I like that moderately rising trailing point. Like I say, it's a lot like, or almost exactly the same profile as the Cold Steel Talwar folder, which I love and is my primary carry folder. So this comes into my system very easily. It comes into my hand very easily. It's easy to carry. It's small. It's compact. It's lightweight. The construction is exemplary. There's no rough edges, no gaps, no misfit on the scales. It feels like it was made to go together, and it fits as though it was made to go together, if you know what I'm talking about. Again, the sheath, nothing wrong with the sheath, even though I think it's just a little thick as far as the material goes for my personal use. But there's nothing wrong with the design other than what I said about just rolling this tip a little bit more. And again, that's because I carry at IWB. This clip, it does set off of the body a little bit, but in IWB carry with this clip over your pants and your belt, it actually, this height right here pushes the sheath into your body. It doesn't really push the clip out because the clip is on your belt. The belt's what's putting pressure in. So this height really gets pushed into your body rather than out. So it doesn't make it hard to conceal or anything. I've not had any problem with it coming off of my belt. I don't know. It's like a nylon injection molded clip. I don't know how tough it's going to be, but I don't foresee having any issue with it. And if I do, like I say, I'm pretty sure I could put a small tech lock on this, or I could do a loop, just to put a loop on it so I could carry it IWB, or I could even just leave the hardware in it and put a piece of cord on it, and I could carry it rip cord style, like the CRKT Obake that Lucas Burnley designed. That's a good carry option also. So that, that's a good sheath. I don't have any issue with that at all. And the knife is a high quality knife. It's small, compact, lightweight, fit and finish is good, a good steel that's easy to resharpen. Like I say, 1095 is a carbon steel. It will rust if you don't take care of it, but I've not had any issue as long as you just use some minimal care practice with it. Just keep it coated down with a very light layer of your favorite oil, or like I use Tough Glide, which is basically a dry lubricant after it dries. So I'm going to say, hey, if you need a small, compact, fixed blade, lightweight, maybe you're looking for something to carry paralleling my philosophy with this, which is to use with my firearm for offside carry. This is a great little knife, and it doesn't hurt at all that it says Lioness on it. I'm not so sensitive about that because this finish is pretty manly, and yeah, that's not such a big issue. And again, look at that right there. Proudly made in USA. Made in USA. And you can get one of these for about $100. And I think that's a pretty decent deal, guys. So if you're interested in something like this, I do recommend it. And like I say, I would trust my life to this thing in the intended use that I have put it into my system. So again, I appreciate you guys taking the time to view one of my videos. And I want to say God bless to everybody. And I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you later.